guest. Gerard, could you tell us a little bit about recruiters? When it started and why you started it?
Sure. Well, actually, in March, can you believe it'll be 16 years open and trading? And, we're up to an internal staff now of 22 colleagues, along with 170 plus temporary workers and contractors out there on sites representing our brand to the many companies that we work with. So yeah, it's really growing, and we've experienced growth during this last year despite everything that's happened with COVID. I guess why I set it up originally was that I found there was a gap in the market for, I suppose, traditional consulting type recruitment as the world was moving towards RPOs and big, large outsourced deals. But we took what was the best of the industry and tried to make it better. We never set out to be the biggest agency out there, but what we really wanted to be was the most trusted one. And I suppose our message has been really crafted over the last 2 years, as we've embraced tools like Trustpilot, I guess, Google Reviews, Glassdoor. So now, we can say with confidence that we are Ireland's most trusted partner.
One of the things that really honed in on me when I joined the company was the mission to put consulting back into recruitment as well. And that consulting kind of emulates within our values of honesty and openness, which ties in very nicely with what we're saying with Ireland's most trusted recruitment partner as well. Gerard, why are we hiring right now? What's happening at recruiters that we need more staff?
Sure. So interestingly, we ended 2020 with the same number of staff that we started the year with, despite everything that had happened with the pandemic. And I guess as a medium-sized agency, when we were reviewing the crisis, I very much felt that we had to keep all of our staff and do our best to make sure there was no redundancies and keep everyone employed. Because I just had this feeling of what would happen, or a question, what would happen when the pandemic is over and then our clients are hiring again? I was trying to fast forward and look at the situation, a year down the road. And I just had this fear of maybe starting all over again and having to try to train recruiters, I suppose, bet them into our culture and then get them trained. So we took a view of that we were going to keep the business as is. And we had a very interesting year in that during 2020, we hit some of the objectives that we've been talking about for a while, such as recruiting internationally and expanding into new areas like healthcare, life sciences, and public sector. So here we are in 2021, and all of that actually came true. We onboarded new clients internationally, and of course at home. And all of our traditional clients are back hiring again, because we recruit a lot within the tech space, and those companies have adapted and are growing. So now we find ourselves in a position where we have a lot of new work, a lot of new clients. And again, I don't want to let any of them down. We want to make sure that we continue to deliver the service that they're used to. So that means hiring. We need to hire more people. So I guess we're growing with confidence, and we're reacting to what our clients want, and also it's on the strength of our efforts during 2020.
You mentioned there just around COVID-19, and when March hit, nobody was really too sure how this was all going to evolve, particularly around hiring remotely, onboarding remotely. So not only did our clients have to adjust, but we also had to adjust pretty swiftly as well. So yes. What kind of new hire expect when they are dealing with us remotely during the interview process and also then during the onboarding process?
Okay. I guess, we had done some work back in 2018 actually, and we were trying to conceptualize what the world of work would look like going into 2020 and beyond. And we knew from the demands that were being placed, or the requests being placed upon us from our existing team, that we really had to embrace remote working. So prior to anything happening with COVID, we had hired some recruiters who worked exclusively from home. So to facilitate that, we made sure that all of our systems were online. We also have our e-learning online. So we used to do a lot of classroom training, and in fact, recruiters have always had a strong reputation for training. It's really has been part of one of our USPs. So we moved a lot of our training to an online portal, back in 2018 and 2019. So it was perfect timing that we were ready for 2020. So a new hire can expect a company that's ready and has already embraced flexible working prior to the pandemic. So, we were ready for it. And I think that was one of the things that made our transition very easy. There was no panicking. I heard anecdotal stories of companies that had to go through major change programs to get themselves online, but actually we were ready for that.
Yeah, and I can back that up as well. As an employee at the company, it was a very smooth transition. So before going into a little bit more detail about some of the roles that are open at Recruiters currently, what's your elevator pitch to, and what makes Recruiters a great place to work?
Sure. Well, I think it has to be, for me, the number one thing is the culture. That's why I get out of bed in the morning. We've all missed each other terribly during the pandemic, even though we're doing our best to stay in contact with our online calls and our meetings, which happen all of the time. But it's a great bunch of people and we have a lot of fun together. We're very supportive of each other. But what's really consistent is the team. Our attrition is very low. We have consultants that have been with us for 6-7 years now. So we have the internal culture, that great colleague support, the branding, which is around our most trusted partner. And then, of course, we have some great clients, who are hiring, who are busy, who have embraced, again, remote working and continue to support us and give us more work. If ever I wanted to check in with the culture, right now, one of our consultants has come up with the STEP challenge for the month of February. And it's been really interesting to see our WhatsApp groups blowing up over the weekends, where people are posting photographs, they're logging in their steps. There's good online chat going on about it. And you still have that sense of fun despite everything that's happening. So that's really great to be part of.
It is. So tell us about some of the vacancies that we have open right now, Gerard. I think there's 4 vacancies.
Yes, we need more consultants actually. So we're looking to hire experienced recruiters to work in the areas of finance, IT, and contracting. So for these next few hires, ideally, I would like to get some experienced consultants who would like to join us. And again, we can offer them careers of varying different levels, from entry level up to principal level recruiters, as finance recruiters, IT, and again, within our contracting division, which is a bit more generalist.
Yeah. So you mentioned experienced recruiters, but is there any particular type of people we're looking for in terms of attitude or skills?
I guess the cultural fit is always going to be important. It's easy enough to screen a CV to make sure someone is experienced within whatever discipline they'll come from. And I'd love to get someone with, 2 years plus all the way up to maybe 8 years. But the values and the culture of the company is really important. So, for us, we have to look long term and see what will happen beyond COVID when we return to work. So we need to make sure that this person will add to the culture, will add to the team that they're coming into, and can grow in line with our values as well. So it's a very important process. We tend to hire slow, which means our attrition stays lower. So I'm really excited about it. Actually, I've been interviewing for the last 2 weeks, and I've met some really, really interesting recruiters who are now going through a process with us.
So what's your best advice then, Ger, for anyone thinking of applying to Recruiters to get their best foot forward with us?
If you go to our Join Us page at recruiters.ie, you'll see the job specs there. There's a call to action by getting a CV into me, and then I would usually reach out and start a conversation over Microsoft Teams. But what we're looking for is attitude, to be honest with you. An experienced recruiter who again has a great attitude, someone who has the ability to look around corners, who's looking beyond COVID for a career beyond there. And we're here to stay, we're growing. We're looking forward to welcoming at least 6 new colleagues into Recruiters this year.
So that's it, Gerard. Thanks a million for taking the time today.
Thanks, Andrew. Thank you, everybody, and I look forward to getting those applications in.
Sweet. Okay. Thanks, mate. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.